Baseball-loving tourists tend to make their way downtown and spend money here too, which is great for business. There are additional regulations for some new downtown developments designed to make it more convenient for employees to ride their bikes to work. The issue, letting people know where the empty spaces are located just as they're arriving downtown. Yoga is believed to have a calming effect on adults who practice it, and it apparently works on babies too. During spring training for the world champion Houston Astros, they are the fans with a plan. Armed with scrapbooks, baseballs, jerseys, even shoes, Jeremy! They're determined to get up close and personal with their favorite players. Right here. Some live near the ballpark of the Palm Beaches. Others flew in from Texas with their fully bedazzled, colorful Astros regalia.
We are here for the season.
So are Houston residents Donna and Jan, season ticket holders who haven't missed a single game in many years.
We stay the entire spring training because we love our Astros.
With bags of balls to be autographed and lots of competition from some very aggressive fans, the two friends have a strategy to get the players to walk over to them.
Being kind and polite and non-aggressive to the players like some of these people are, pushing and shoving and yelling at them. You just stand here and wait your turn and they'll get to you.
They'd been waiting for World Series MVP Jeremy Pena for 2 days but weren't ready to give up. Neither was 12-year-old Lake Worth resident Laurie. She and her family wanted to meet all the Latino players, especially those from their native Venezuela. And these Atlanta brothers, diehard baseball fans, were visiting their grandparents in Florida and trying to add to their autograph collection. 13-year-old Brady's ambitious plan was to get somebody to give him a bat.
I'm going to get a bat. It's pretty obvious.
That's pretty confident.
I'm going to get a bat.
So for the next couple of hours, they all lined the fence outside the practice field along with everybody else until finally this. Venezuelan superstar Jose Altuve stopped to chat with Laurie's family, so of course they invited him to dinner. You invited him to your house?
Yes.
What did he say?
He said no because he had to work.
Meanwhile, Brady did get some autographs, but not the bat he was after. But for superfans Donna and Jan, a home run. What do you think of these ladies? They love you.
They were here yesterday and I told them I was going to sign for them, so
You're a good guy.
I kept my promise.
And we appreciate that. Thank you so much.
And that, these fans say, could just be a sign of some very good things to come once again for their very favorite team.
Yeah, Astros! Woohoo!
This is Sheryl Kahn reporting for WPB TV. If you've ever seen a manatee up close,
Mom!
you know why so many people are obsessed with them.
They're so old Florida, and they're just so beautiful, wonderful, gentle creatures.
These unique sea creatures, vegetarian mammals who grow to at least 9 feet long and weigh 1,000 pounds or more, head to warmer waters when the weather turns cold. That's when you'll find them here at Florida Power and Light's Manatee Lagoon.
They start congregating toward the shallower waters to try to stay warm, but also more of these discharges, like the FP&L plant over here at the Manatee Lagoon. It discharges warmer water, so they'll congregate there to stay warm.
But while it is nice and warm here, these gentle giants are often swimming towards hazardous seas. Every year, hundreds of manatees are killed, many of them by speeding boats. And that's where West Palm Beach Police Sergeants Craig Davis and Robert Heiser come in.
Idle zone, Captain! Idle zone. Idle!
Working with the underwater search and recovery team to save humans who run into trouble, they recently rescued a man who'd nearly drowned. But they also patrol the ocean to keep Florida's manatees safe.
We help enforce the state and waterway laws on the manatee zones and the speed zones to help prevent the injuries and the deaths to all the manatees here.
It's not always easy.
Captain, it's an idle zone. Idle, not slow speed, idle.
Davis and Heiser use the boat's loudspeaker and hand signals to warn boats when they're going too fast. And if that doesn't work, they'll turn on the flashing lights and pull them over, in this case, literally. During these mid-ocean traffic stops, they'll run your license through the computer just like they would on land.
I didn't see your ID.
If you haven't been stopped before, you'll get a quick safety talk and a written warning.
Just pay attention to signs. This is slow speed, no wake zone. When you get to 3A up here, it turns into an idle zone. It's a warning, right? It's a warning. All right.
But if you have done it before, it could cost you.
I don't want to hear it. Slow down.
If I write you a ticket, it's $140.
The sergeants say many of those who break the rules are new boat owners or those who've rented a vessel with little or no experience. And while it's never fun to see those flashing lights behind you on the road or on the water,
it's an idle zone through here.
They just hope boaters understand why they're doing it and who they're trying to keep safe. This is Sheryl Kahn reporting for WPB TV. This may be a standard one-bedroom apartment, but to 78-year-old Judith Cassavant O'Connor, it's pretty much a palace.
This is the bedroom.
Not too long ago, this was her home, her compact car where she kept all her belongings in the back seat. How did you work this? What did you do?
Right here.
You just would sit here? What about in the back?
No, I had that full of clothes.
Showering at a health club and subsisting on Social Security checks, Judith says she spent her days watching the world pass her by.
I was on the outside looking in.
And how did that feel?
Strange sometimes. Like I would see mothers and fathers with their children, and I would long for that.
But one day, housing resource specialist Henry Mercy came across Judith and reached out to her.
The team and I saw her living in a car, and then we approached her and talked to her.
Judith told Henry she'd been living in her sister's home, but when her sister died without enough money to rent an apartment and nobody willing to take her in, Judith was out on the streets.
And I had to move around in my car.
So Henry worked his contacts, got Judith into a shelter, and started the long process of applying for permanent subsidized housing. Since there are so many people applying for help and nowhere near enough units to go around, it took a while to find a spot for her.
I just had to be patient and wait till things worked out.
Eventually, it did work out, and Judith got her apartment. She's now paying nearly a third of her income for rent on this one-bedroom unit and getting ready to apply for part-time jobs to help keep her afloat long-term.
I want to do remote work and take care of myself.
Not every person experiencing homelessness will find a nice, affordable apartment like this one. Experts say the demand for subsidized housing far exceeds the supply, especially in an area as pricey as South Florida. But for Judith, the future looks bright, and she says she is not taking it for granted. This is Sheryl Kahn reporting for WPB TV. When 30-year-old Zukra Supiva was sworn in as a West Palm Beach police officer, she could hardly contain her emotions.
I want to thank you, my mom and my little sister, for always being here for me.
The daughter of a single mom who'd immigrated from Kazakhstan, Officer Supiva had worked as a 911 dispatcher for over 5 years, helping people in distress over the phone, sometimes in Russian. It was during that time, connecting cops to crime scenes, that Supiva finally decided to follow her dream and become a police officer.
Each call that we've had, I'm always like, man, I wish I was out there.
And so she did, through 6 months of training at the police academy, followed by more at the department.
I'm in charge, right?
Learning how to deal with combative suspects, how to safely use handcuffs and shackles, and also how to talk to people in the field to de-escalate situations.
Women have to have that verbal judo, per se, and better communication skills with individuals to be able to talk them down instead of going hands-on right away.
And she was chomping at the bit to get started.
I cannot wait.
She doesn't have to wait anymore.
This is going to be the case number with the ticket right here. And then, yep.
Now, with many action-packed 12-hour shifts already under her belt, Supiva says,
It's good. A little bit nerve-wracking, but it's good, exciting.
Like all new hires, Supiva is paired with an experienced field training officer who serves as a mentor and shows her the ropes.
We figure out exactly where the collision was. Was it in the middle of the road?
But while it might be more exciting to be out in the field, it's also a lot more dangerous, and her mom still worries.
Let's just say I get a few more extra "I love you, be safe" text messages throughout the day.
In any case, just a few months into her new job, Supiva feels this is exactly what she's meant to do, and she hopes to be doing it for a very long time. You're still sure you want to do this?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why?
I love it. It's been my dream. It'll never change. I remind myself every day why I do this, and I'll never give up. So I'm here to stay.
This is Sheryl Kahn reporting For WPB TV. For this city crew, a routine water main repair job quickly turned into a life and death emergency call involving an apparent suicide attempt.
We heard a whole bunch of screaming and dogs barking, and that's when the guy's son came out and said his dad needed help. And when I ran across the street, I was like, "Where your dad at?" He pointed up in the yard, and that's when I seen him hanging from the tree.
So the 6 workers sprang into action.
We ran up in the yard and we was able to lift him up so we could take the pressure off his neck.
So I hopped on the chair and I pulled the dog leash off of the tree branch that was holding him up.
They called 911 and waited for an ambulance. Authorities say without their quick action, the man probably would have died. Later, 3 of the crew members stopped by his house to check on him.
He was happy. He shook our hand and then he hugged us. It's like he started crying a little bit.
Mayor James thanked the crew during a ceremony at City Hall.
Thank you so much.
And again during his State of the City address.
The men were so humble and unassuming and simply said, "Mayor, it's no big deal. We're just doing our job." Well, you know, it's a big deal to me.
The Hero crew members say they often think about what happened that day and have these words for anyone who may be feeling helpless and lost.
You got multiple people that actually care for you even though you don't think so. You gotta always have someone there for you.
If you are in crisis and need help, please call or text 988 to reach the 988 Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. This is Sheryl Kahn reporting for WPB TV.